Any questions, any doubts? Anyone tried patching the SQL server?
Yes, sir.
So is it successful? Any issues you faced? Any challenges you faced?
Nothing, all good.
Okay, that's fine. Right. Okay. So in our last class, we have discussed about the patching, how to patch the SQL server. Can anyone tell me at least 4 or 5 precautions before patching the SQL server that I have to take care of it? Any patching precautions? 4 or 5 patching precautions, please.
Number of servers we have to check.
Okay.
Space
At
we
least
have
3 GB free space. Okay.
if we should take the backup for the databases
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and the type of mission we have to check.
Okay.
Next, if all good, we have to restart the server once.
Okay. Before patching, good. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Anything anyone wants to add for the patching precautions?
Bill numbers we have to check mainly.
Okay. Okay. Bill numbers and server name also we have to check.
Reboot the server.
Mm-hmm. When I have to reboot the server? Before patching or after patching?
Before patching.
After patching, you need to reboot.
After patching is also needed.
Okay. So I have to reboot the server before and after patching. Okay. Right. And one more question. What is the process of patching? How you are going to initiate the patching process? Can anyone tell me? Patching process, guys. At least tell me one terminology in the patching process.
Download the patch.
Patching process, organizational process.
Okay, firstly we take approval.
Okay, very good.
Sometime
Okay, then after taking approval, then
I have to take update.
after approval, what we have
Take
to do?
downtime.
Yes, okay, very good. Request for downtime. Next, what next? What next? See, in the interview, if you ask how to patch the SQL server, everyone tell the same. Download the patch file, copy the patch file to the server, and initiate the patching. Everyone will tell the same answer. But what is the difference between you and other people? Okay, your answer should be unique. Your answer should be unique, and the interviewer should be impressive with your answers. Okay, don't tell regular common answers and all people will tell the same answer. Download the patch, okay, copy the patch file, but explain each and every question with the process so that they can easily identify you have an experienced DBA. You have to create that kind of impression with these questions itself. You know the process, right? You know the process. First of all, we have to take the approval from the customer. We have to raise a change request. Once everything is approved, then we have to mention the okay planned start date, end date, and all in the change request. And the change request will go to the cab meeting, and we have to represent the change request in the cab meeting. Once the change is approved in the cab meeting, then we are good to start the patching. Okay, if you explain these things in the interview, okay, definitely there are very high chances, okay, for selecting for that particular round and all. Again, try to explain each and every questions with the process. Okay, try to explain each and every question with the process so that you will get better chances to select in the interview. Okay, right. Again, not only for patching, every question try to explain with the process. In our topic, in our discussion, for every topic we'll start with the process. I'll discuss what is the process and all in the organization. Okay, so in every topic, in case if they asked, okay, not theory questions like this kind of patching or else installations. Okay, for these kind of questions you have to explain with the process so that they are going to impress, okay, with your answers. Who is this number 95593933145? They just attended with my meeting ID itself. Who is this? Let me know your name. I am going to edit it. Someone joined with my meeting itself. Who is this? Yeah, someone with a meeting ID joined in the meeting. Who is this? Can you please identify yourself? I'll edit the name. Yeah, can you hear me? 95593133145. Can you hear me?
Sir, I think it's me, Nandini.
Nandini. Okay, Nandini. Let me rename it. Rename. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Why? Because okay, usually I have a list of the students, right? So sometimes if this link is shared to other people, they are also going to join. That's why I have to recognize each and every person. Okay, right. Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay. So let me connect to the server remotely. Let me check the IP address of this machine. Let me give you the recording permissions to you. Right. You can record, Nandini.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So in our last class, we have discussed about all the patching process, how to patch the SQL Server, precautions before and after patching the SQL Server. Same whatever we have discussed. Okay, patching precautions. After patching, again you have to check all those things. After patching of the SQL Server, you have to check whether all the services are up and running or not. You have to check whether all the databases are online or not. Whatever the previous state before patching, what is the state of the SQL Server, the same state should be there after patching also. Make sure the same state is there after patching. So what you have to check immediately after successful patching? What you have to check immediately after successful patching?
Build number.
Build number. Very good. Okay, I have to check the build number so that I can easily identify whether my SQL Server is patched or not. Okay, in case sometimes there are some chances, sometimes patching will be successful, but build number won't be updated. So what we have to do for that? How to troubleshoot that issue? There are some chances. Okay, if your patch is partially successful, there is a chance sometimes patch will be partially successful. In such case, your build number won't be changed. Okay, what is the solution for that?
Uninstall the patch.
Very good. We have to remove the patch and we have to reinstall the patch. That is the solution. After patching when successful, what you have to check is in the next attempt, you have to make sure the server is up and running or not, and connect to the server and check the build number and check whether it was updated to the latest patch or not. Okay, by using the build number. If it was updated successfully to the latest build number, then check other things like services and all, check the database states and all. Okay, just check whatever precautions are there we have discussed before patching. After patching, again no need to check how much free space is there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, before patching it is important to check. For the successful patch, it is important to check how much free space is there, okay, in the C drive. After patching, mainly you have to take care of the services, whether services are came online or not, whether the databases are online or not, whether the build number is changed or not. These three things you have to take care immediately after successful patch. Right, there are some scenarios, okay, you have to remove the patch. There are some scenarios you have to remove the patch. In what scenarios we have to remove it? Okay, so I'll explain. One scenario is in case if something happened, if your patch is partially successful, okay, in such case you have to remove the patch. Means after patching, if your bill number is not changing, that means your patch is successful. If your patch is partially successful, right, in such case you have to remove the patch. That is one case, one condition. What is the other condition? You have to remove it. Okay, this kind of situations we are going to get very rarely. Okay, don't think like in all the scenarios we'll get we have to remove the patch. No, might be in 1000 or 2000 servers you will get one scenario like this. Okay, might be in such cases you have to remove the patch. For partially successful servers you have to remove the patch and reinstall the patch. That is one case. And the second case is compatibility level, guys. Compatibility issues will come after patching. See, every application will support some versions of the database, only particular versions of the database. Imagine one internal application is there. That internal application will support up to SQL Server 2012, okay, SP2. Imagine, just for example, as per the application architecture, it only supports up to SQL Server 2012 SP2. But as per your standards, you just patched your SQL Server with SP4. What happened here? You just patch your SQL Server, okay, which is not supported by your application. Once you just patched with the highest level of service pack or cumulative update, in some scenarios, your application may fail to connect to the database due to compatibility issues. Who is going to take care of these things? Actually, application people has to check what are the supported versions of the database. Okay, they have to update us. Okay, patch this or don't patch with this. They have to update us. Sometimes, okay, application will be installed 5 or 10 years back, and the people will be resigned from the organization, and new people will come into the application team. So might be they may maintain the list of the database supported database versions, they may not maintain the supported database versions. In such scenarios, very rarely we are going to get this situation. Okay, in such scenarios what you have to do is, no problem Rian, no problem, not an issue. Okay, in such scenarios what you have to do is, after patching, sometimes application may face trouble in connecting to the database. That is called compatibility issues. What is the solution for that? What is the solution for that? Can anyone tell me what is the solution for that?
Again, we have to uninstall the patch.
Very good. We have to remove the patch, and we have to just simply remove the patch. No need to reinstall. We have to remove the patch. In these two scenarios, usually we are going to remove the patch. Okay, one is compatibility issues. If after patching, if the application is not connecting, see, if the application is not connecting, immediately don't remove the patch. Explain them. This is the situation. We are getting compatibility issues. Again, like SQL Server is also an application, right? SQL Server having updates, right? In the same way, application side also updates will be there. Ask them whether they can update their application so that it may support to the latest version of the SQL Server databases. If there is no update, sometimes small applications will be there. For the small applications, people don't release any updates and all. So in such scenarios only, we have to request them to remove the patch. Immediately, if the application is getting compatibility issues, don't encourage to remove the patch. Explain the situation to the application team. Ask them whether any updates are there for the application. If any updates are there, ask them to update their application to the current version. If there are no updates, still if we are facing the compatibility issues, then we have to explain the situation to the application team. And after approval, of course, they will ask us to remove the patch. Okay, there is no other way. In such scenarios, we have to remove the patch. Okay, right, fine. So these are the general cases. Okay, usually in these two cases, we are going to remove the patch. One is application compatibility issue. Second thing is, if the after patching, if the bill number is not updated properly, okay, or else if the bill number is not changing, okay, that means partially successful cases, we have to remove the patch. Okay, so how to remove the patch? Again, patching process, how you are going to like proceed with the process in the organization for patching SQL Server. In the same way, to remove the patch also you have to raise a change request. Why? Because after removal you have to restart the SQL Server, and during the removal also, okay, the SQL Server will undergo for multiple reboots automatically. So downtime activity. So again you have to raise a change request and you have to get it approved by the CAB people. Once everything is approved, so usually these kind of changes will be emergency changes. Why? Because application is not working. You cannot wait for the weekend. You cannot wait for the next day. Application is not working. It's very urgent. Okay. So you have to raise an emergency change. In the organization, we'll have three types of change requests. Okay. Normal change, standard change, and emergency change. Normal change, standard change, and emergency change. Okay, scripts, executions, and all, usually a regular planned activity will goes to normal change. Process is same, but the names of the change is different. Standard change, see, regularly you are updating your SQL Server very regularly. Every 1 month or every 2 months you have to update your SQL Server. That is a standard change. Okay, so one time you are going to raise a change request. Again, for standard change, standard template will be there. Okay, so automatically the standard changes will be auto approved. Why? Because we have already took proper approvals from the CAB team, and this is a standard change. Every month attending CAB meetings, every month taking their approvals, it's time waste process, right? For standard changes, standard template will be there. Once we raise a standard change request, depends upon the organization, guys. Again, it may be there in your organization or may not be there, but in some organization this kind of process also will be there. Okay, so these standard changes are auto approved. Again, no need to participate in any CAB meeting. All the changes, once you raise a change, standard change, automatically it will be approved, auto approved. Emergency change, in this scenario, why? Because application is not connecting, application is down. Application down means what? Business is down. Your Amazon is not working now. After patching the database servers, Amazon application is not working. So are you going to explain, wait till the next weekend, I am going to remove the patch? Are you going to say the same thing to the application team? No, right? Up to weekend means how much business loss will be there for the Amazon? Treat same application will have same kind of business loss. Might be it varies, depends upon the type of business. That's it. Okay. No customer will approve or agree for the business down. Okay, right? So why? Because they are clients, they are paying money, and they are losing their money in case if the business is down, or else if the database servers or application servers are down. So they are not going to approve, right? They are not going to wait till the weekend. So you have to immediately raise the emergency change. Emergency change, usually we don't participate in the CAB meetings. Emergency CAB people will be there. They are going to approve immediately with a proper justification. You have to provide proper justification for approval. Once you provide proper justification, then they are going to approve it. Right. Once this process completed, you can remove the patch. How to remove the patch? Go to add or remove programs. There is a shortcut for that. How to go to your add or remove programs? Just open Windows or run and type appwiz.cpl. Appwiz, appwiz. Okay, appwiz.cpl. This is the shortcut for the add or remove programs. Okay, you will get this kind of scenario screen. Go to view installed updates. Right, now tell me what update I have to remove. Here I can see 3 updates, same 3401. If you see here, the update is 3401 only. You can see here. Okay, so here you can see browser SQL Server 2017 3401 hotfix, Microsoft SQL Server 2017 3401 hotfix, VSS Writer 3401 hotfix. Which update I have to remove here? In case I want to remove the patch, what update I have to remove?
SQL Server 2017.
Second one.
Very good, 64-bit. Okay, if you remove it from here, okay, automatically it will be removed from all the components. Okay, don't remove from individual components. Okay, just remove from the main component, which is, you can see here, Microsoft SQL Server 2017 64-bit. Okay, with the, please mute yourself in case if you don't have questions. Yeah, so Microsoft SQL Server 2017 64-bit, and you can see, right, this is the main component, and you can see the hotfix installed on the main component, which is 3401. Okay, see here, if I remove the patch now, what will be the build number? Can anyone guess? What will be the build number?
14.0.1000.169.
Okay, right. Okay, so imagine this is my SQL Server 2017. Okay, right. So lot of CUs are there. CU25 is the latest CU, CU1, CU2. Okay, imagine CU13. I have installed all these CUs. Okay, CU24, and recently I just patched my SQL Server with CU25. Right, imagine this is the scenario. I just patched my SQL Server 2017 with CU1. Later I have patched with CU2. Later I have patched with CU13, CU24. Now recently patched with CU25. Now if I remove this CU25, to which level it is going to like updated? Once I remove the latest patch, what is the next level it goes?
CU24, sir.
Yes, it is going to,
CU24.
okay, yeah, it will be updated to CU24. Right, okay, this is your SQL Server 2017. Directly you just patch your SQL Server with CU25. Okay, right. So now if you remove CU25, to what level it goes now?
2017.
2017. Okay, so here you have already installed to CU24, right? So if you remove CU25, it will goes to CU24. If you remove CU24, it will goes to CU13. If you remove CU13, it will goes to CU2. Okay, in the same way here, directly on SQL Server RTM, directly I just updated my SQL Server with CU25. So if I remove CU25, don't go to CU24, guys. Okay, what is the last update? SQL Server 2017 RTM is the last update, right? It will directly go to the 1000. Okay, right? So let me go to the SQL Server, right? And let me go to this window, add or remove programs. Double click on it to remove. Okay, just double click on it. Now you will get the installation like window, like how we install the SQL Server. In the same way, same kind of window we are going to get it now. So now you have to select the instances. Imagine, okay, I have 3 instances. I want to remove patch from one instance. How to do that? I have 3 instances. I have to remove patch from 3 same SQL Server 2017 instances.
Select only instance which I want to remove.
Okay, very good, excellent. Okay, so in this screen, in case you have 3 instances, you can see all the 3 instances in this screen. Okay, so in case you don't want to remove the update from the other instances, simply uncheck that instance. If you want to remove the update from all the instances, check all the applicable instances. If you want to skip uninstallation of any instance, simply uncheck it so that it is not going to touch that instance. Okay, now I have only one instance, right? One instance. So I'm going to remove the features. I'm going to remove the update from the database engine as well as shared features also. Okay, so it is going to remove the update from these components. That's it. It is not going to remove these components. It is going to remove the update on these components. Okay, right? Let me go next. That's it. Uninstall. It is going to check any background files are running in this screen. No worries. We are going to take the proper downtime, right? In case if any background files are running, not an issue for us. You can easily skip it, but in case you want to check, you can check it. Right. Okay. Next. Yeah. Action is equal to remove patch. While running the query also, you can remove the, you can remove the patch using query also. Okay. Action is equal to remove patch. You have to mention action is equal to remove patch, so that you can remove the patch using query, and select the remove option, so that the process will start now, and it will take 10 to 15 minutes to remove the patch. Again, removing patch also is a downtime activity, and you have to take the proper downtime approvals before removing the patch. After removing the patch, you have to follow the same thing. You have to check whether services are up and running or not. You have to check whether databases are up and running or not, and you have to check it was successfully removed or not. The patch is successfully removed or not by using a bill number. Okay, once the bill number is changed to its original bill number, okay, then you can easily identify, okay, whether the patch is removed or not. Okay, after that you have to again send an email to the application team. We have successfully removed the patch. Please check now whether your application is able to connect to the database or not. Once they confirmed if it is connecting, then you can close all the change requests, all the pending tickets, okay, from the application side. This is the whole process for removing the patch. Any questions, any doubts, guys? Any doubts? Okay, so sometimes, yes, sorry,
While doing, you'll get.
I did not get you. What is that?
Nothing, Shanmugh. No doubts at all.
Okay, fine. Okay, sometimes what happened is, while removing the patch, okay, usually while patching the SQL server or while removing the SQL server, sometimes, not regularly, sometimes we are going to get the common errors. Okay, what are the common errors? Can anyone tell me? See here. Okay, while installing the SQL servers, while uninstalling the SQL servers, while patching the SQL servers, while remove patching the SQL servers, while upgrading the SQL servers, in all these scenarios, we'll get, might be, we may get this error, missing MSI MSP errors. Missing MSI and MSP errors, dot MSI and MSP. So when you install SQL Server, usually in our machine, lot of files will be copied. I'll explain what are the files are going to be copied. When you install the SQL Server, some files will be copied into your laptop or in the server. Okay, what are those files? Okay, DLLs, dynamic link library files, RLLs, resource link library files, .msi, Microsoft installer files, .msp, Microsoft patch files. Okay, HTA files, HTA files, HTML application files. Okay, so these are the dot files. Okay, .dlls, .rlls. Your file extensions would be .dlls, .rlls, .msis, .msp. So in those files, .msi, .msp files are important files. All files are important only, but we usually heard about .msi and MSP. So sometimes these files will be missed from your server. Okay, sometimes these files will be missed from your server. Okay, that is called .msi and .msp files. If these files are missed from your server, so usually while installing or uninstalling or patching or remove patching or upgrading SQL servers, these files will be updated. Some specific .msa files and MSP files will be updated during the process of installation, uninstallation, patching, remove patching, and upgrading SQL servers. Just a minute. Hello. Hi, the meeting will be closed in a minute. Okay, let me reopen the meeting. Please join with the same meeting link. Okay, the meeting will be closed now.